Hi guys, welcome to Aperture to Zoom. This is going to be the first in a series of videos basically unpacking the Lumix G9 and all that camera has to offer. Before I get stuck into the actual camera, can I please suggest if you navigate to the menu to the spanner settings folder and then go down to the version. Make sure you're sitting on version 2.5, please. That is the latest firmware, and it would be good if your camera is up to date. Alright, so with the firmware question taken care of, the obvious place to start is we'll just select the menu, which is the center button over here, and the center button is surrounded with this control wheel here, which also doubles up as 4 buttons, similar to like a joystick that allows you to navigate through the menu. So if you push it far to the left, it'll highlight the folder button, and as you can see, you can move through the various folders like that. And then some of them are actually subfolders in the menu, which will then take you to additional components once you hit the select button. So the nice thing with this is you can use it to scroll like that, or you could just use the down button or up button, whatever you prefer. Moving far to the left gets you to the main folders of the menu. So we'll run through all those in a bit more detail as we get on through the series of videos. So just another thing around the menu is once you've typically done all your sort of presets in the menu there is a quick menu option, which is also very handy, and that just allows you to get to sort of I suppose menu items that you can typically change more often than not, which is quite handy rather than going into the main menu, you know. So there's a quick menu, and those sort of buttons are quite close to each other too, which is handy. And then you just got your display button here, which allows you to navigate through various options of information, which is also very handy. You can switch it off completely or bring it back to the viewfinder. So when it comes to your viewfinder option or your touch screen, function 3 button on the left here gives you 3 options. Option 1 is having the touch screen off. Option 2 is looking through the viewfinder. Alright, so that'll be on auto. So that means when your eye comes up to the viewfinder, it'll automatically switch off that touch screen, which is the handiest option to have in my opinion. On the top left we have a control dial here. It's like, I think it's called a drive dial, which allows you to get into the burst modes. You've got a 6K option, which we're also going to unpack in its entirety, and then the timer or time-lapse options. So that's what that drive dial does. And then on the right here is your focus settings. You've got your automatic focus single, automatic focus continuous, and obviously your manual focus. I've got mine set to automatic focus continuous, and I'm using the back button focus, which I'm probably going to do a video on around that too, because I just think it makes a lot of sense to have the back button focus set with all the other focus buttons here. This is a little joystick which allows you to control and pinpoint exactly where you want that focus to be, which is very handy. You can set that, and then there's also a function 1 button which allows you to move around between the various focus modes depending on what your preference is. So they're very nicely clustered together over there, and I think ergonomically it works very well. So moving to the top of the camera, we've got our exposure modes: manual, shutter speed, aperture programmable, intelligent auto, and then the various filter options. And then you've got 3 custom settings, which I'll also do a separate video, and I think it's handy to have some custom presets that'll just flick to the settings you like, and then your movie mode, and the center button over here, in case you don't know, that just locks the mode in, and another button will unlock it. Moving to the right side here, we've got this very handy LCD screen, which at a glance gives you some pertinent information, what your shutter speed is, what focus mode you've got set on, and if you're finding it difficult to see, you've got this little toggle switch on the on button which illuminates it. You can see your battery level, SD card details, and like I said, very handy information just on the top of the camera. That is a very clever little inclusion. There's a front dial on top here, which I currently use for my shutter speed, and then we've got your white balance, ISO, and exposure compensation mode. Video record button over there. This back dial is typically used for aperture. You can use it to navigate through the menus too. I prefer to use the control wheel. And then on the right, I beg your pardon, the left side of the camera, you got your mic, your headphones, and then your HDMI in, as well as your charging cable. Another thing I like, you can plug that cable in through to a USB and actually charge the battery directly while it is in the camera, which is also a nice handy feature. On the left, I beg your pardon, right side of the camera is a remote in, if you wish to do that, and then there's two SD card slots, which I like. Currently the number one SD card is for photos and the bottom one is for video. That's also a very handy function or feature of the camera. And then finally on the front of the camera, there are two buttons just to the right of the lens that are also customizable. We'll look at those buttons in more detail in some other videos. And then there is another button on the left here which allows the camera to be put in silent mode. Then you've got your lens release button over there, and you've got an in for a flash should you wish to use one. So that sort of gives a brief summary of the camera and where you can find all the bits and bobs. In future videos we'll unpack each important aspect of the camera in more detail. Alright guys, to summarize this video, firstly thank you if you're one of those rare people that made it to the end. As I said in the beginning, I'm going to be unpacking this camera through a series of videos, more so for my own benefit, I suppose, to learn and understand every single aspect of the camera to improve my photography. I want to get into a bit of astrophotography and some landscape photography. I sort of live here on the beautiful Gold Coast, and there's plenty of subject matter around here. So look, if you like me, you've own one of these cameras and you really want to get to know it, I know there's copious amounts of videos on YouTube, but I'm going to be unpacking this, like I said, through a series of videos, so you're welcome to follow along. And with that being said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will no doubt see you in the next one. Thank you very much. Over and out. Bye-bye.